Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria 3, where we are currently working on enacting free trade, and we also need to ask, are we planning on actually having any significant wars in the next little while? If we are, then we're probably fine where we're at, but if we're not, we might want to drop our military wages down. To be honest, we might want to anyway, because we don't really care that much about the training rate. Only the 3rd Russian army is low on manpower. So I think for now, let's just bump that down, and we'll just have to remember that it's there. Now that puts us at 46.5k, that's solid, and we're currently paying 19.6k in interest, which is a fair amount, no doubt about that. But we just need to continue to work through that, and we'll look for opportunities. I would like to fight Britain and take over this little area. The question is, when do we want to pull that off? The main problem isn't necessarily Britain. Exactly. We can probably broadly take on Britain. The idea would be that we would just push in over here, take this area, and that would be all that we'd have claimed, and push them out so that they can go below 0, and then they'd have to do landings. That would be the idea. However, they'd have plenty of time to move troops in. We'll see how that plays out. But the main problem with fighting Britain right now is the fact that they're allied with Prussia, and they have a defensive pact with Netherlands. I mean, the Netherlands probably doesn't matter all that much. It's the defensive pact with Prussia that we don't like. That would make things complicated for us. So, for the moment, that's not really an option. So we'll see how that goes. The real question is, at this point, economically, how are we doing on our railways? So I want to take a look here. Infrastructure looks solid. That's not shocking, of course. And I want to look through these local input goods shortages. So in Perm, and actually we can close that. There we go. In Perm, I want to check in on this railway. Yeah, we can definitely go to wooden passenger carriages, and we'll see how that goes. In Bryansk, what do we have going on here? This is going to need further expansion, it looks like. Okay, we'll get that queued up. In Turkmenia, what do we have going on? This is still working on employing up. It's at about half employment. I'm guessing... No, we have plenty of people here. Okay, so that'll just take some time. We'll let that employ up for the moment. In Afghanistan here, this is Western Afghanistan, of course, we're going to need to expand this railway. And in Eastern Afghanistan, we probably are as... Did I just delete that railway? That was not intended. Okay. Well, I definitely did not intend to delete that railway, but we're going to have to build 2. That is painful. I wish there was a confirmation for that. Unfortunately, there wasn't. I just hit the wrong button. That's my own fault. So we'll take that as a punishment for me being a little bit fast and loose with what button we were hitting. Sure. I meant to expand it, not shrink it. But whatever. We'll build 2. So that's fine for the moment. But of course, Western Afghanistan is going to be a little problematic. Free trade will get passed soon enough. So that's fine for the moment. We're paying down our debts at a reasonable rate here, I feel like. Yeah, this is pretty reasonable. So we're just going to continue to work on that for the moment. And economically, we want to get a few more railways done. There's a bunch of government administrations that are going to need to get finished. Let's check to see what else is considered expensive here. Fine art. Okay, I don't really care too much about fine art. We could definitely work on, like, some fertilizer, some coal, and some engines, and I don't mind that. So let's get going on some fertilizer. In Transbaikal, sounds good. Some motor industries, this would end up being in Saratov. I'm going to build 2 of them. And then I want some coal mines as well. So coal mines will end up being in Ural. Okay, so we'll build 2 of those as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to intersperse these railways in and among this. I don't want to be building pure railways right now. I feel like that's not really a fantastic way to grow our economy. I mean, it will be helpful, but I want to just do something kind of like this. So that'll be fine for the moment. It'll take a little bit of time to work down to this railway in Moscow. That's okay. I'm not too concerned about that. So our training rate is low. That does mean that the 3rd Russian army is going to take some time to increase its manpower. That's okay. I don't mind that either. We have a little bit of infamy right now, so we'll just be sitting and paying down our debt and working on some construction here. We need to continue to develop our GDP, although our GDP is doing reasonably well. We do need to be a little concerned about growing radicalism in our country, though. There's no doubt about that, and the reason that that is happening is almost certainly because our standard of living has been pretty flat this whole time. We need to do something about that, and that basically means cutting taxes. Our taxes are absolutely crushing right now, but they're also necessary, in my opinion. So for right now, I'm not too concerned. Now, I would like to change our economic law. Specifically, I would like to get off of traditionalism and get to something. We'll see what our options are after we go to free trade. For now, we are where we are. We'll see what happens here. Hey, straight into adoption. I like it. So free trade should pass pretty easily. And we're down to 11.9 million. Yeah, this is going pretty well in terms of paying off our debt. So that looks good. 18.1k in interest. That snowball is definitely starting to roll. So that looks solid. 18k now. So are we getting like 100 per week? Not quite. Okay. I think we're still at that like 75 marker in terms of per week income, which is not necessarily ideal, but it'll do. Okay, so we're finishing up some coal mines at this moment. That sounds good. And of course, these railways are being primarily worked on right now, so I'm just going to move some additional things up. I don't want to necessarily be primarily working on these railways. So just something along the lines of this. Actually, this government administration can come down. This fertilizer plant can go up. There we go. So that'll take a similar amount of time to finish the motor industries as it will to finish up the railways. So that sounds reasonably good. China wants to enter into a defensive pact with us. I was under the impression we already had one, but their separate peace out earlier must have ended that. Interesting. I think I'll accept that. Outer Manchuria's up over here. Noted. Okay. We're probably going to want to fight China relatively soon. Keep in mind they're a paper tiger. They can't actually raise up these armies. So that is going to be something that we're going to do at a later date. I'm not sure exactly when that's going to be. Maybe in like 10 to 15 years. Something like that. But we'll see. Gantry cranes have been unlocked, giving us industrial ports, which would not necessarily be a bad thing. Let's hop into our development here and potentially bump down to... Let's see, that's going to be a lot of additional steamers. So we're going to be needing steamers instead of clippers. Can we produce steamers? That's a question we need to ask. So if we go over into our shipyards here, we cannot produce steamships yet because we have not invented the ironclad. Okay, so we definitely don't want to go to industrial port yet. Noted. We are, of course, currently working on trench works. Once we have that, we're going to be in a pretty good position against a lot of European powers, I feel like. And that might also be a good time to launch an attack on China. We'll see. For the moment, we have a defensive pact, making our on-paper strength look a lot stronger. And yeah, Eastern Afghanistan market access drops. That's understood. So these transportation implicus shortages are, of course, mildly problematic. Over here in Tver, we're going to need to bump up our railway numbers. So we'll get an additional railway going here. I'm going to move this railway down the list, though. I don't want this actually to be getting too much progress just yet. So we're just going to stick that about there. Okay, looks good. We got an advance here. We could take prestige here. You know what? Let's take plus 20 prestige. We're at 59% success already, so this will be fine. So that all looks absolutely good. Radical Norway. Wait a second. Wait a second. I completely missed this. Unfortunately, we can't get involved in this. Sweden is cocky on this, though, so I think they have that under control. I would have joined in on this if I had realized this was happening. but I didn't notice it. That's my own fault, of course. I still think Sweden's got that. Fascinating. Okay, so that has broken out. And for the moment, that is absolutely fine. Now, Kalat down here is loyal. We may want to consider making the Sikh Empire a protectorate if we can. We don't have an interest in North India. Okay, so we would have to put in an interest here. That's in the diplomacy tab. Declare interest in North India, and in Himalayas, and in North China, and in Manchuria, and in Anatolia. Okay, there we go. So there's those interests being established. That'll be fine. We'll get all of that put in for the moment. And how are we doing on those Eastern Afghanistan constructions? 18 weeks to go. Sure. So that's absolutely fine. We're going to get some progress on the Western Afghanistan Railway, but broadly, we have a lot of railways to construct still. Let's see, Bryansk, Turkmenia, Eastern and Western Afghanistan, and of course Moscow. So the Tver Railway appears to no longer be necessary. Let's get rid of that for now. Cool. Motor industries will be done in 13 weeks. Of course, motors are currently expensive, and there's all of those interests activated. Fantastic. So now if we were to make the Sikh Empire into a protectorate, that would be a very interesting thing to do. They do have a strength of 2486. So that is absolutely noted. What is the strength of our second Russian army? Does this say in here what the actual strength of the army is? Yes. 2494 from the second Russian army. So that would be very close. The first Russian army is a little bit stronger. Noted. So the first Russian army might be able to defeat the Sikh Empire on their own. It would be kind of close. And we'd be attacking into, I believe, mountainous terrain here. Yeah, we definitely would be. So I'm not sure 100% how well that would go. But it's definitely an interesting option. So then we would still need Poland, Lithuania, and Ukraine out over this direction. Let's check in on how this battle is going. Radical Norway is winning at this moment. But that might be a temporary thing. Yeah, Radical Norway is losing this battle. We now have free trade, so that is good. It does mean that we lose our tariff income, but that's understood. I don't mind that at this moment. Checking in on our institutions here. Our institutions look fine. And can we come off of traditionalism? Actually, yes, we can. We can do interventionism, which currently we are on 25% private construction allocation. Okay. Interventionism would definitely be potentially interesting here. The other option is laissez-faire. That would reduce our loan interest rate. That said, no one opposes interventionism. We have 2.9% opposition, and it'll radicalize the rural folk. So if we do interventionism, everyone will like it. Literally everyone will like it. So let's get going on that. I just want to get off of traditionalism. I don't really care which one that ends up being. Now, landed voting, we're probably going to be forced to put through because of radicalism. We'll see. But that's the current thinking. Okay, progress on hand-cranked machine gun or bolt-action rifle. We'll take the bolt-action rifle because that's slightly higher progress. Excellent. So 6 and 7 weeks on getting our motor industries and railways finished. That all looks good. And then, of course, we're going to begin work on our fertilizer plants, as well as finishing up the last of these railways. That all seems great. The railway in Moscow will get progress again, which would be good. No doubt about that. And Eastern Afghanistan should get its market access. Ironclads are currently considered expensive. What is using them? Naval bases are using ironclads? Fascinating. We don't have the ironclad research done. Hey, naval bases, what are you doing? Power of the purse here? They shouldn't be using ironclads. Okay, whatever. So we can definitely bump up to advanced tactics training here. And our railways are, of course, kind of mixed in what they're doing. So that's fine. We have worked through most of our local input goods shortages. Our economy is flagging a little bit right now, but it should start to pick up here pretty soon. So that all looks relatively good. All of these will be finishing up at similar-ish times. That seems fine. And over in eastern Afghanistan, we should be seeing workers employing into this railway, and that is indeed the case. Fewer goldfields in Yakutsk, which is not amazing, but whatever. Ooh, gold mines. Yeah, get those going. Maximize those gold mines. Top priority. That'll take 20 weeks to build them, but we are very, very keen on getting those built. No doubt about it. So I just want to double check our gold mines here. Yep, those are all of our latest production methods. So that seems absolutely fine for now. We've in fact nearly maximized our gold production. Generally, our mine production is nearly maximized. All we would need then is the diesel pump, which would be fine. But we can see here that Radical Norway is currently unfortunate. We'll just say minus 50% migration attraction. Radical Norway is crushed at this point, and Norway is going to take that back over, I believe. Sweden is handling that, and they seem to be doing a good job of it. Indeed. Yeah, Radical Norway is very not into this. I wonder why. So interventionism is going to get an advance here. Grassroots support for the law. Actually, lower strata pops would become more loyalist. That's 1 million population. 20% is quite a lot. Done. So that boosts up our loyalists a small amount. It absolutely does need to get worked on, and landed voting is likely going to be necessary, but we'll see. We're still working on paying down our debt. We're down to 15k in interest, but that's not really the biggest of concerns here. The biggest of concerns is that we want to finish up our gold mines, right? Absolutely. That is a very, very high priority at this moment. So we'll get those completed and continue to pay down our debt at a somewhat low rate. We have seen our income drop, and that is due to our lack of tariffs. We no longer have tariffs. That's probably also why our economy dropped off a little bit there, is my guess. But let's get this gold going. We've got about 5 more weeks on that. And that will help matters. That'll nearly cover the loss of our tariffs. Okay, so next up is probably going to end up being the Sikh Empire. I think getting that and Persia under our control would be very big deals. So Persia would be 49.3 infamy to make protectorate. That would be a pretty easy war as well. Our infamy is currently reputable. So we would need our infamy to be at 0 before we were to attack Persia like that. So that's absolutely noted. I think the Sikh Empire is probably our next target. And how much would that cost us? 24 infamy? We could get that going. We absolutely could. It would be kind of expensive. And 24 infamy would put us up into the next category. The major problem is, would Britain decide to intervene in that? I think for the moment, I'm going to let our infamy continue to drop and pay down our debt just in case, out of an abundance of caution. Let's get the railway in Moscow finished up. That'll be 19 weeks out. So the railway in Bryansk is 18 weeks out. Yeah, this is fine. This is absolutely fine. Let's get this stuff finished up. We are back up now to nearly where we were before the tariffs, and that's fantastic. We're very, very glad to see that. The gold mine's definitely paying off there. And our economy is starting to enter into recovery. So that looks very, very good. We do see an arts academy being expanded. Given the price of fine arts, that's fine. And an opium plantation being expanded as well. That's absolutely okay too. So one question that I have, what does pollution actually do in this version of the game? That's something that's probably going to start having issues later on. Migration attraction, standard of living, and mortality. 50% mortality. Okay. That's quite a lot of mortality. No doubt about it. It's only 15% from health institutions. So that's definitely interesting. Let's take the 15% enactment success chance here. And we're currently at what level of infamy? 5.4. So if this is going to be going after the Sikh Empire is going to be like 24, then we would want this to be at or below 0.9 before we would do make protectorate. And then that, of course, would delay our attack on Persia. Or we could go after Persia at a similar level. 49.3 infamy. Okay, Great Britain are embargoing us, which isn't necessarily shocking. We know that they're hostile towards us. Let's see. Hang on. Did they lose their defense agreement? I believe they lost their defense agreement with Prussia. They have a truce right now. Cool. So that's good. Our defense agreement with China means that on paper, Britain's going to be less likely to want to attack us. Not that they're going to not attack us, guaranteed. They might. But they're going to be less likely. I want to check in at our literacy here. Okay, so we have a little bit of excess innovation here. That's fine. No real issues there. Our railway in Moscow is going to be done in 5 weeks. That's going to actually be a little bit faster than that. A donation of knowledge. Oh, a university in Alaska? Do it. Yes, that is great, because that means that our innovation cap is going to go up to 123.7, in theory, approximately. So that is good. That means that we'll have a little bit more of an innovation window there. Sounds fantastic. So our railway in Bryansk finishes up. I want to take a look at some of these additional transportation shortages. Our railway in Moscow is going to be done here. Now we're working on one in Western Afghanistan. In Eastern Afghanistan, I am betting that the problem here is workers. Well, we can take this to wooden passenger carriages. But that doesn't appear to be the issue. I think we need to further expand our railway. So let's get that queued up. And Latvia has appeared here. So if we head down to our railway here, this can definitely go to wooden passenger carriages, but I suspect we'll need to expand that as well. In Tver, this is back, so we already had that queued up and it went away briefly, but it's back now, so we'll get that queued up. Otherwise, this seems reasonably good. Just expanding Latvia to the wooden railways did the trick, but that's going to be a temporary sort of thing. So I want to move this fertilizer plant up to here. We're going to move this fertilizer plant to here. This railway I'm going to put there, because I do want that, or actually I'm going to put that here, because I want that done relatively soon. Okay, we'll just do something kind of like this. Cool. So Great Britain has sided with Denmark in a peasant revolt. Okay, that seems fine. Modern sewerage has been unlocked. Okay, that leads to steel frame buildings, and that is going to give us some additional weekly construction progress. Well, max weekly construction progress. Oh, that a project can progress in a single week. Okay, so that doesn't actually mean that we're going to be spending more construction. That just means that we can put more into each project. So that actually means that we're only working on 4 now instead of 5, which is mildly awkward. But okay. And 10% pollution effect reduction. That's not bad. So that seems quite good. We're going to finish up our fertilizer plants in just 1 week here. Excellent. And knowledge of postal savings is spreading to us. That's a pretty decent economic one. I like it. So interventionism is going to happen eventually. This is going to move some of our construction into private construction, but I'm hoping that that'll allow us to actually pull out of our investment pool. That would be very nice. We'll see if that happens. So we're in consideration now. I'm not sure what our investment pool requirements are at this point, but we'll get there. Okay, so how are we doing on that infamy? That is down to 2.7. We're not quite to where we'd want to be for our target to attack the Sikh Empire, but we'll get there very soon. So that sounds good. I want to check in on Lithuania here. They're probably still a protectorate of France. That's probably not going anywhere. Yeah, they have a defensive pact with Belarus. I mean, Belarus is our subject. And Poland has an alliance with Belarus, who is our subject. That said, Belarus is specifically a protectorate, and we might want to start thinking about reducing autonomy. out of curiosity, 41% chance of acceptance? Okay, let's improve relations with Belarus, and we'll start to work on that. Sweden, we are 86% chance of acceptance here. We're amicable right now. Okay. We could go with that. What would that be for infamy? 8.2? Okay. Noted. So for now, that's absolutely fine. I don't want to run that at this moment. Gold was depleted in Alaska. Okay. Previously, that gave us access to gold mines. And yeah, okay. Let's build some gold mines in Alaska. That sounds great. I do want to move up these railways. I don't care about the government administrations, but I want to position these gold mines something like this. Okay, that'll be reasonably fine, and we'll get these railways finished up. It is, however, time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we're going to get these gold mines finished, and we're going to get these railways done. Hopefully, we'll get these local input goods shortages finally taken care of. How are we doing in eastern Afghanistan, by the way? This is expanding. Right. That's that one. Okay. And in Tver, this is at what state? Noted. Okay. So that seems absolutely fine for the moment. Next episode, we are very likely to attack either Persia or the Sikh Empire. I'm not sure which we're going to go for, but we're going to make one of them into a protectorate. We'll see which. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kintogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.